I didn't slam the door when I left. No shouting, no accusations, no final questions. The truth had already done the loudest speaking. She lied, and in that instant, everything inside me went quiet. I didn't need to hear her explain. I didn't want to. I walked away because staying would have meant betraying myself, pretending I could live with something that had already broken me. I thought that was the end. I thought I had closed the chapter for good. Until the letter arrived. It was left without fanfare, torn, folded, and placed at my door with a kind of care that made it impossible to ignore. And just like that, all the certainty I thought I'd built around what happened began to crack. We had been together for 4 years. 4 years of shared spaces, private jokes, morning rituals, and wordless comfort. It wasn't intense anymore, not the kind of love that sets everything on fire, but it was solid, familiar. Or, at least, I thought it was. Now, I can trace the moment it began to shift. It was in the way she stopped meeting my eyes for long. In how her sentences became shorter, like she was always choosing not to say the full truth. But I didn't push. When you love someone, you protect them, even from your own suspicions. That's probably why it stung the way it did. Because I ignored my gut. Because I trusted her. It started with something small, a conversation I wasn't meant to hear. Her voice, low and uncertain, on the phone with someone. Saying she couldn't keep going like this. Saying she felt guilty. I shouldn't have listened, but I did. That night, I asked her what was going on. She smiled soft, dismissive, said it was work stress, said I was overanalyzing. And I wanted that to be true. I needed it to be. But the next day, I checked her messages, something I'd never done, never even thought of doing before. And there it was. Another name. Another version of her. A part of her life I didn't belong to. She hadn't crossed a physical line. Not yet, but emotionally, she'd already left me. I didn't confront her. I didn't wait to hear her explain again. I picked up my coat, my keys, and I left. No message. No farewell. I walked away from everything we built because she had already walked away from honesty. The days blurred. I found my own place. Tried to rebuild. Moved through the motions of beginning again. But in quiet moments, she was still there. In the pause I took when I saw something that reminded me of her. In the ache of knowing I no longer knew where she was or what she was doing. But I never reached out. I couldn't. She had crossed a line I couldn't forgive. Then, on a gray, rainy day, I came home and saw it. A letter. No envelope, just my name in her handwriting, left gently outside my door. And for a moment, I stood there, torn between the urge to leave it unread and the part of me that still cared enough to want to know. I did read it, and what I found shattered something in me far deeper than the lie itself ever could. Maybe you hate me now, I wouldn't blame you. I think I would too. But before you erase me from your life completely, please read this. Not because I've earned your forgiveness, but because you deserve honesty. That night I lied. Not out of distrust, but because I was ashamed of who I was becoming. The man you saw in my messages, I wasn't in love with him. I was drawn to the attention, the distraction, the version of me that didn't have to be strong or composed or perfect with you. In those moments, I felt like someone else, someone freer. But I didn't know how to hold on to that without feeling like I was failing us. I know that probably sounds like nonsense, but the truth is I was afraid. Afraid that I wasn't enough. Afraid that one day you'd wake up and see you deserved more. So I ran. I made a mess. I gave you a reason to hate me instead of simply admitting I was drowning. You didn't scream. You didn't even look back when you walked out. But I watched you from the window. And I've never stopped regretting that moment. I've tried to write to you so many times. But how do you speak to the one person whose heart you broke when you never meant to? This isn't me asking for a second chance. I just need you to know you were never the problem. I was. And that truth stays with me every day. I hope peace finds you. I hope you meet someone who knows how to stand still when things get complicated. But if you ever doubt whether what we had was real, it was. I loved you. I still do, in a way. I just didn't know how to love you the way you deserved. When I saw her name, I sat on the floor for hours. Not because I could suddenly forgive her, but because I finally understood betrayal doesn't always come from cruelty. Sometimes it's born from fear, from the chaos inside someone who's falling apart. The lie hurt, yes, but the truth cut deeper. It reminded me that what we shared was real, even if it wasn't enough to survive the storm inside her. I never wrote back. Not because I didn't feel anything, but because some words are meant to be closure, not a new beginning. And still, I kept it, not to reopen wounds, but as a reminder. People don't always leave because they stop loving you. Sometimes, they leave because they no longer know how to love themselves. If you're holding on to someone else's betrayal, it's okay to let go. It's okay to never look back. But if your closure arrives, in a message, a letter, a memory, let it touch you. Not to relive the pain, but to finally set it down. Because the truth, as painful as it is, has a way of freeing us. And sometimes, the real beginning doesn't come with staying. It comes when we finally understand why someone had to go.